Good afternoon to every one of you. I think whatever I wanted to share with you today, it has been shared with you in much better way with all the eminent speakers of the day. But maybe as more of a teacher, I am used to give presentations, and everybody will have slightly different style of working and presenting, etc. I think today I will start, first of all, what about why and what is engineering? Can somebody help me? Instead of tell me? Okay. Okay, technology is there. Yeah. I think first let me extend my warm congratulations to all aspiring engineers for choosing it into different streams and branches at Bangalore Institute of Technology. I think, as all of you know, engineering is the most sought after career option in India. And India is proud of all the engineers. As the country has one of the largest pool of engineers all over the world. These engineering graduates work across several domains and industries, handling a huge range of operations from development and production to quality check and distribution, from banks to production houses and automobile giants to IT firms. Engineers are required in every sphere of industry. There is some issue here. I think there is some issue. Either. India is one of the largest supplier of engineers to the world, and the engineering education should be at par with global standards as well as the requirement of the industry. As global industries are involved, it is important to understand engineering education in India and significance. There are some myths about engineering in the country. One is that I will tell, being one of the most popular option for students all over the country, engineering also happens to be most talked about career option. When people discuss, they come across various views and notions, and some of which are not true and others may not be true. I will tell about some of the myths about engineering education. This is, of course, there are many branches of engineering, as it was told earlier. I could list out only few of them and not all of them. So many people think that engineering does not involve creativity. I think all the previous speakers, eminent speakers from the industry and the learned people have shown that engineering also has lot of creativity. In fact, engineering is one of the most creative pursuits where you brainstorm and think out of the box to provide efficient solution to the problems. Normally, others create problems or engineers provide solutions. People believe that engineers work with a serious expression at all time and do not get to think about, they do things as they stick to traditional practice. So many times they think much more things beyond what is done by others. The reality, however, is far from this. Engineers think innovatively, and as it has been explained in a better form, how to use technology or new methods to provide better and more effective solutions to all the problems. And other thing is that Okay, I will deviate from other speakers little bit. Many people think engineering degree is always get you high pay. Not necessarily. Sometimes you read in social media and news media that some student from this institute or from that institute got very high offer from some company or industry. That is mostly, it may be many times from only very national premier institute like IISc or IIT, and the people believe that every engineer will get the same, but not straight away. But the truth is that apart from top tier colleges, only few institutions are able to expose you to high paying recruiters. I think I am happy to learn that BIT is one of them, and all recruiters are queuing up here to take the talent that is available. If the engineers are talented, they do not get the right opportunity. Many people think they are very talented and they are not able to get that opportunity, which may be true in some cases, but not always. But I believe that if you have talent, today or tomorrow, you are going to get very good offer. And from the kind of jobs may be quite different. It may be BPOs or take up the jobs or any other thing. But how to get good salary? And that's why you say, in fact, when our director was presenting in the initial presentation, he was telling some of them got very high salary. That's why when we go to inspect some of the colleges, they say only the best salary. That's why we will say what is the percentage of students getting good salary and what is the average salary. That is the reality. And don't think every one of you get the top salary unless you remain top and you learn everything well. So that is more important. Getting job is easy for engineers? Not always. In fact, most of you might know that many companies claim that only 15% of the graduate engineers are only employable, leave alone getting the job. So that way, some of the colleges, premier colleges and institutions, and some of the good colleges are where the students are very lucky that most of them are getting good jobs. But most of them is not everybody. But unless you work very hard, and what you should do to get good salary, and that good salary for you to get, you have to do some of the good things. I think it has been explained in a more philosophical manner, but I will get into in a more format way. There will be no job for engineers. In fact, in 2000, what they were telling, all computer jobs are going to be over. They are recruiting people only for the sake of conversion of 2000 into 1999 to 2000. Afterwards, they said there is no job. I don't think anything like that happened. And in fact, the demand for jobs or the opportunities for getting jobs are increasing even today. And of course, it is not like only software jobs are available. Now it is getting into more and more specialized jobs. And see, as information technology field, in computer science, many changes are coming. These changes will come and they will get the students who learn basics well in the classrooms, they have to have the adaptability to learn more and change themselves. Say for example, in our time, everybody was learning only Fortran. Then C came, C++ came, Java came, Python came, then tomorrow Python may come. whatever may come, you have to get adopt. So the colleges cannot teach you everything that is going to come in future years. We have to learn the fundamentals well and have the adopt, you should be ready to adopt any changes and requirements as the time goes. That is the key for everybody to sustain in this field. And industry, see, as a Pro-Vice Chancellor at Geetham, many industries, we used to have a academy industry interaction. So they say, so most of the graduates are not useful for them immediately. We have to give for training for 3 to 6 months. Then only we can get something out of that. Maybe it is true. No, see, educational institutions train you to adopt, understand the processes and the technology involved in the various fields. But you cannot directly say, I have started, I recruited you today, from tomorrow you do this or that. No, it takes really for anybody to learn the company operations or the industry requirement immediately. So that kind of orientation from the industry is required. Then I used to tell industry people, don't complain that students are not employable, useful immediately. See, then all the national policy started thinking of inducting industry personnel as a teacher, as help for establishing innovation labs and sophisticated laboratories, and they also give opportunities for some of the students to train in a particular technology at their industry. So, there is always necessity, however much you learn in a classroom at an academic institution, when you go to industry, we have to transform, understand, some amount of orientation is required. So, we used to encourage students and industries interaction and explain what they really require, and if there is an opportunity to learn beyond academics and start working industry, they should take up some of the projects when they are doing their degree itself, and the industry will coordinate, will try to come and interact and explain their problem and keep them ready to take up their jobs. Become more executed, no more than added tool resource to the organization. That is their perception. What they do not see is a combination of practical knowledge, conceptual command, communication, and understanding of the culture rolled out into one. In other words, industry is on the lookout for work-ready graduates and do not want to spend unnecessary resources in training. They bridge the gap found in today's engineer. And bridging the gap is more important. So, to bridge the gap, you should know first what is the gap that exists when the students are ready to leave the institution, and what is the expectation from the industry. This is the gap between, they are nothing like instant food. You have to make use of them, and every organization have to help the academic institution to bridge this gap. And apart from your technical skills, creative and innovations, you should also have good communication. And, and that's why they all started communication labs in all engineering streams without any exception. And bookish knowledge is appreciated to some extent, with very little time given to impart practical understanding of the same concept. So, because of that, you find several computer science engineers unable to understand programming logic, or electrical engineers facing difficulties while designing even circuits. Dear students, what I think it has been emphasized, I am only putting in a bullet form. Feel comfortable in the new environment. When you are students in up to now in your science or various colleges, the environment will be quite different. And never allow stress to overtake, and never go for so-called counseling. Let us see, without any medical counseling, all of you stay very physically and mentally healthy. Don't worry about competition, and worry about learning fundamentals rather than learning everything. And bond with others. I think young generation will try to understand different way, not necessarily to have bonding with students of opposite gender, but it's also important to bond with teachers, with your laboratory staff, and sometimes even supportive staff, and have good relation between teachers and students. And understand, as Professor was telling, understand the aspect of life. What is life? Why? What is the life for? Not like playing, then what you call like earning, and about, I think Professor was telling very nicely, giving it back to the society. And what is your ambition? Set your goal and build a character. That is very important. We have seen some of our, I am sorry to say, some of the people, very less percentage though, at least in the circle I moved, very few people without character, but there are. Adopt from school education to engineering education, which is somewhat different. So what we should do? We should have to have conceptual knowledge, but it is equally important to have engineering mindset. I think creation, learning and create a useful object and come up with a design. You may call engineering mindset, you may call it a research mind. So finally it should be useful. Whatever subject you have learned should be understood in engineering mindset. That is what the institution will make you ready to develop this engineering mindset. And of course, naturally people have inbuilt capacity to have engineering mindset, but once you have chosen the field of engineering, you should have the engineering mindset. It has been proven that most of the knowledge imparted to engineering graduates is anyway very little use to the company, which is why most of them have on-job training and all new graduates joining them. The closer you are ready, your salary can be better and you can be employed better. To fix this, college need to focus more on practical learning and understanding. See, many people think they can do very well, but practical learning, many people may understand theory very well, but when they go to laboratory, very poorly done. Because I will tell you a small example. When we were working in the intermediate, there was a small experiment where you have to weigh a compound accurately in a balance. You know, those days not Mentler balances, there is a chemical balance. You have to take the weight, it takes a lot of time. You have to see the pendulum operating, taking out the average, and then determining the weight. So the experiment says, take 5 grams of this chemical accurately. What one of my friend who is very good, he understood that you have to take only 5 grams of that compound. Not about accurately. It could be 4.9, 4.8, 0.1, something, 5 point something is okay. But getting 5 grams accurately in a chemical balance those days is almost impossible, or it takes a very lot of time. So if you understand that you have to weigh accurately 5 grams and take, you will never be able to do. His laboratory time is over, still he has not weighed 5 grams and failed in the laboratory course. So one is instruction, another is what is it. We should know how to do it. So students should take part in various technical events where they will be pushed to solve real world problems with the help of engineering solution. And you need a lot of practical training. Curriculum design, even though traditional curriculum included such soft skills and many non-technical subjects, they used to be taught only for 1 or 2 semesters. They say incorporate everything, but all your language skills, physics lab, chemistry lab, mathematics may go little beyond, because of course it is much more necessary as it was told earlier. We should incorporate, I think, the fundamental aspect of, as Professor was telling earlier, it is only the mathematics that makes many equations to solve and applied in engineering. So we need to imply by fostering their employability as well as the career. And don't think, neither I am threatening you, becoming an engineer is not a cakewalk. And becoming a good engineer is definitely not a cakewalk. It requires effort, persistence, and determination to learn and do well in all the subjects. Even though India proudly stands one of the largest supplier of engineers, it is also stands a difficult position, witnessing over 80% of engineers called unskilled for technical work. This is the pathetic situation. When they say 15% only employable, more than 80% are not employable or not having skill. So the national policy is to have the skill development centers, and almost all the colleges, as I know, they are developing skill development centers. So ultimately, it is understanding the subject is much more important than getting a degree. So in one of the forums, one of the recruiters said, degree is not important, learning and understanding is more important. But then I asked, sir, don't say that. They should get a degree, because however much they know, if they come to you today, tomorrow they will ask you, where is your degree? If you don't get a degree, they don't even allow you inside. So it is compulsory, that is a prerequisite for any job. But of course, I fully agree that understanding is more important than obtaining a piece of paper in your hand. And in our days, one of my senior colleague was telling, he got PhD from some university in UK. At the end of completing all the formalities, my senior colleague asked their university, please give me a degree. Then the university said, why do you need a degree certificate? Then he said, no, if I have to go, after going to India, if I have to work somewhere, I have to get a certificate that I got the degree from UK. Then the university seems to have told him that if you are really got a PhD from this university, wherever you go, you should show that you are a PhD, not by showing a piece of paper. You should have that knowledge and competence to convince anybody to say that you are qualified. So, of course, still some amount of bureaucratic process is there. I can tell a lot of stories how, even without degree, people are able to get some jobs, but that's all rarity. But nowadays, in the current situation, you must have a degree and then competence, and then skills to. I will not go into new educational policy which creates that there is no physical separation from one branch to other. All branches should be integrated. They say even science, management, finance, etc. But at least within engineering streams, there should be some sort of a broader content, and everybody should be able to compete. Because one thing I am able to worry now is the lack of interest in core branches, and everybody is trying to get into computer science only. But I think now with the new education policy, all the students will be able to compete and obtain jobs irrespective of their main theme. That's why I used to say when I was in ASC, there is nothing like now civil, mechanical, electrical. Computer science as applied to civil engineering, computer science as applied to mechanical engineering. That kind of a situation is there, not only across engineering, but also some kind of connectivity should be there through sciences. Without science, there is no engineering. And I think all these aspects are covered. You take engineering light, but take it tightly. So it has to be light but tight kind of program. So what are the, I will tell you in another 5 minutes I am going to conclude. According to me, nowadays any education is student centric. Earlier we used to say Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Mahesha. Now I will say Shishya Guru, Shishya Param Brahma, Shishya Vishnu, Shishya Maheshwara. Everybody, student is everything for all of us. And for faculty, I think they should not forget to continue to do their research ambition. Then we have to have some amount of discipline. Discipline is also very important. Regular attendance. Many people think they satisfy that minimum attendance of 75% or something. I can't really understand. A student missing first class, how he can cope up with the second class? I used to get very discouraged. Either I have to believe that my previous lecture is of no use, or the students are much sharper and I am becoming useless. So regularity, attendance is very important. Don't neglect laboratory learning. Give proper importance to field learning and learning from case studies. And in fact, in engineering, there are two kinds of case studies. One is case study of successful product. Another is case study on failures. In civil engineering mainly, we learn equally well, even from failure cases. Sometimes failure cases you learn much more. See, the construction of Pisa Tower, whatever it is, there are some problems. Even now, lot of research and learning process are going on. Why Pisa Tower is leaning? So lot of settlements, differential settlement and case studies. And take group discussions. Instead of wasting your time on something, join students among yourself and have group discussions, whether it is monitored by a faculty or not. You try to discuss something useful and have seminars. And research is necessary and valuable. How it helps, I have listed here. Engineering education through laboratory studies should be given more importance. Why laboratories are crucial, I have explained. And particularly the skill development centers or labs, industry experience sessions, project-specific experiments, industrial visits, team building exercise. These are all very important. And skill-based education. In fact, there is one another new concept what they say. Even in a language, don't learn e like that. They say learning by necessity. They show the ga, ra. They say you learn only ga, ra. Don't learn like a donkey, e. You learn only need base and learn everything one by like this. But I don't know how far it is successful. I don't think that it's only in a concept stage, and many primary institutions are there in the country. I think most of the institutions should have connectivity with these premier institutions to motivate their faculty and students and something to learn for many years to come. And of course, this is what entrepreneurial hotspot we should create, and industry participation for teaching, training and placement. They were telling some of our alumni, they are CEOs of big companies, they are coming here to help us. Of course, that is a good feature, but not only the alumni, but also all you should be able to attract CEOs from all other companies also. And of course, one word about codal practice. See, engineers design because of intense research work carried out by many scientists, and they arrived at a code. But codes can be revived because the requirements of today's engineers is very different, and sometimes you may have to question the code and develop new codes. And you should get inspiration from great engineers that the world has produced. One is, of course, as a civil engineer, I give most important to our great engineers, Sir M. Visvesvaraya, and his self-learning, and of course, a brief history of Visvesvaraya, and finally he got a Bharat Ratna award for his commitment and sincerity and application. And of course, many others are there, lot more. I will mention a few of them. Sir Arthur Thomas Cotton, another great civil engineer, who has done lot of work in India. John McAfee, John, an English-American businessman and computer programmer, and Willis Carrier, who was an American engineer and known for modern air conditioning, and Steve Wozniak, recognized as one of the two important pioneers of computer revolution. Steve Wozniak is credited with co-founding Apple along with Steve Jobs. Not surprisingly, he has been described as one of the men that changed the course of history through technology. So, likewise, a few more engineers from different branches of engineering, and who has developed a solar impulse plane, and there are many other scientists, recycling, rebooting, and seawater greenhouse, and RoboBee, which on the sea collects lot of waste and disposes of, solar powered roads. These are many of the, and Seabin, and I request all of you adopt, take a pledge today to that you will great innovative become in years to become. I think previous professor has told that you have to develop one patent within 1 year, and he will be happy to come and support that project with his wide knowledge and connections. And I want all of you take a pledge yourself, not necessarily standing and doing like this, but to in a heart and mind, you take promise and pledge that you bring credit to engineering education itself, and to yourself, your parents, your teacher, to your institutions you have studied, and